Hello and welcome to the webinar. On behalf of the Law Office of Tyler R. Barrett, I want to say thank you for joining us. My name is Maddie and I'm Tyler's assistant here in the office. Before we get started, I want to share with you a little bit about Tyler. Tyler received his law degree from the University of Oklahoma in 2011, where he was a member of the Oklahoma Law Review. His practice focuses exclusively in areas of wills, trusts, and estates, and he is a member of Wealth Council, which is a national network of estate planning attorneys. We're also about to celebrate the 6th anniversary of his practice here in June. So with that, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's get started. Here's Tyler.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks to Maddie for that great introduction. As she said, my name is Tyler Barrett. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney in Norman. A little bit about me and why I got started in this field. Like many of you, I had loved ones who suffered from Alzheimer's and dementia. My grandfather on my mom's side battled Alzheimer's for a number of years, almost a decade, in fact, and he had estate planning in place, but it wasn't necessarily the right kind of plan. Didn't have all of the proper documents in order. And long story short, that led to a host of problems in the family and with his business and his care. And it was just really a nightmare for all of us involved. And this started to unfold while I was in law school. And when I began thinking about what area of the law I wanted to pursue, estate planning and elder law made a lot of sense to me because I figured, hey, if I can help other families avoid what my family went through, that would be a worthwhile way to spend my career. I bring this story up because I think issues related to estate planning are more important than ever in light of our current circumstances. COVID-19 has become a global pandemic. Truly frightening headlines we see every day. The world as we know it pretty much just changed overnight. And here at my law firm, it really affects our clients disproportionately. So, COVID-19, the most at risk for the disease tend to be members of older generations, but also our loved ones and our friends who are on the front lines battling this in the medical field. So the doctors, nurses, etc., putting themselves at increased risk to help us really get control of this. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately from friends and family and clients asking, hey, Tyler, what can we do or what should we be doing today in regards to estate planning to protect our families? And so that was the idea behind this webinar. So what I'm going to cover firstly is who even needs an estate plan, right? Because, people a lot of times don't think they need an estate plan. I don't have enough, or, am I old enough, so on and so forth. So I'm going to talk about who needs an estate plan. Then I'm going to transition into why estate planning is more important than ever before, given what's going on in the world. And then finally, I will wrap up with a few steps that I think you can and should take right now to protect your family and protect your finances in the midst of this global pandemic. So who needs an estate plan? Well, the short answer is everyone. You may be saying, everyone? Well, gosh, I don't need an estate plan if I'm a little kid, playing in the backyard. That's true. But if you own a house, if you have bank accounts, if you are saving for retirement, if you have life insurance policies, any of those things, you're going to need an estate plan. What happens if you don't have an estate plan? Well, a number of bad outcomes can occur, but the state, generally speaking, will decide who gets your stuff. And so that could be along the same lines as your wishes, or it could be very different. I'm sure we all have family members or people that we wouldn't necessarily want our things to go to. But that can be a reality if you don't properly plan. An estate plan provides a coordinated roadmap for your family and for financial institutions, courts, and the like about what you want to have happen. It also appoints people who can make decisions for you if you're unable to make those decisions on your own. And that is vital, right now, because, any of us could get sick. may not be able to communicate with our doctors or handle our bills on a day-to-day basis, and so an estate plan can account for that and make sure the wheels keep turning, so to speak, no matter what happens. Uh, why is it more important than ever? Well, with the COVID-19 global pandemic, many Americans are worried about their health, and this includes younger Americans, people my age who maybe have never really thought about our own mortality before, but all of a sudden we're faced with the possibility of a health crisis. And so that has really attuned people to the fact that, hey, I need to make sure things are in order in case something does happen. Social distancing also has presented rather a lot of complications in terms of making healthcare decisions or handling financial matters because we may be quarantined or isolated in our house. Businesses may be closed. Like here, the downstairs of my office is a bank, but the bank lobby is closed right now. And so we're having to do everything through the drive-through or online. If you don't have the proper estate planning documents in place, that can be very difficult. And then finally, I would say business owners. A lot of us out there are small business owners or have family members who are small business owners, and this has kind of changed the way that we need to think about things and deal with things. What happens if I get sick? How is the business going to keep running? Who is going to run the business? What if the worst comes to pass and I'm no longer here? Is my family going to be able to get the money out of the business? So for all of these reasons, estate planning is just crucial at this time. So what are a couple steps that I think people out there can take today to protect themselves and their families? So the first thing, and if you're going to do nothing else, I would recommend this, is to get a healthcare directive in place. What is a healthcare directive? It is a document that communicates your healthcare decisions to your doctors and to your family. It appoints healthcare decision makers to communicate with your doctors and to make those decisions for you if you're unable to do so yourself. And so this document, again, is extremely important to have in place. What happens if you don't have one in place? Well, your doctors will not have any guidance on what to do about your care and treatment. Disputes in the family may come up as a result of the different sides not knowing what your medical treatment wishes are. And, I think one thing that jumps out to me, and I already kind of mentioned this, is that doctors, in the event of emergency, may not know who to contact if something happens. So those are all, reasons to have this healthcare directive in place. A lot of people will say to me, "Well, Tyler, I mean, I understand, I need that, but hey, I can get the forms online, right? I've seen the forms online, and those are available." And that's true. And having a standardized form is better than nothing. But I think they fall short in two key respects. The first is they don't really contain any specifics. So you may be a proponent of one course of medical treatment or philosophy, whereas your family may have different vision. Also, those standardized forms that you find online and in doctor's offices don't necessarily allow you to communicate your personal values. So just in my experience practicing law, my clients' values are sort of all over the map, and our opinions on medical treatment, end of life care, tend to change as we get older. And so you really need a document that is tailored to you and specific to you, so your values and your wishes are reflected. So again, no other document in place. Healthcare directive would be the one that I would get immediately. Okay, moving on. So what else? Secondly, what else can you do? I think updating existing documents. So a lot of folks have documents in place already. They may think those documents are sound, but what worked 10, 15 years ago may not necessarily be a good idea today. Quick story. So I had a married couple, my clients, just great people. Were very on top of their finances, saved well, responsible, all of that. But they had a will that they had done about 15 or 20 years prior to coming to see me. And one of their kids wasn't even named in the will. And in fact, that child was 18 years old at the time. So can you just imagine, what would happen in an estate scenario if God forbid they had passed away and one of their children wasn't even named in the document? And so you just got to stay on top of estate planning. It's not a one-time event. It's something that you've got to monitor over time and stay relevant. And so you may have moved from a different state, changed jobs, gotten a raise. Like my clients had a new child, or maybe you got a new set of grandkids that you want to provide for. If any of those things is true in your case, and you already have estate planning documents, I would recommend taking out your documents, reviewing them, and seeing if they're still what you need. They may very well be, but you'll never know unless you review them and see if that's the case. So, okay, so we've got healthcare directive, very key document. Review any existing documents that you already have, wills, trusts, powers of attorney. The last point that I would mention here is to consider a trust. Why would you consider a trust? Well, I guess first of all, what is a trust? A trust is a legal document that details the distribution of your property and your money after you're gone, and it puts a trustee in charge of carrying out your instructions. And so what does a trust do for you? I think the biggest advantage of a trust is avoiding probate, and that's even more important with the COVID-19 global pandemic. So on average in Oklahoma, probate takes about 4 to 6 months to complete. It's a court supervised process for the distribution of your estate, and it applies to all property passing under a will, or if you don't have a will. And so you may have a basic document, or you may have what you think are your wishes, but if your estate ends up in probate court, now all of a sudden you've got a judge in the middle of your business. Not only that, but probate is very costly. So on average, it varies law firm to law firm, but you're looking at probably $2,000 to $3,000 plus that your family would have to pay to probate your estate. And so not only are they having to wait months or potentially longer, but they've got to pay somebody like me to do it. I mentioned that the probate aspect is even more of a drawback in today's climate, and that's because of courthouse closures. So here in Cleveland County and elsewhere in Oklahoma, our court system is pretty much closed until May 15th. And so I've got several probate cases right now that I'm waiting to close out, but I can't do so because of what's happened. And as much as we don't want to think about it, there's sure to be other global pandemics, wars, national security crises in the future that could lead to additional courthouse closures. Okay, so a trust helps you avoid probate. What else does it do? Well, it allows you to protect special classes of beneficiaries. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you have a child with special needs who gets government assistance, a grant, for instance, for special education. Well, receiving an inheritance outright can disqualify them from continuing to obtain that help. And so that could be devastating, for somebody who relies on that. Likewise, let's say that you have a child who you really want to benefit through your estate, but you just know they're not very responsible with money. They maybe would go to Vegas and blow it all at the casino, or perhaps there's a substance abuse issue that would lead to the loss of the funds. So there's a number of other scenarios that could come up, but the trust allows you to structure their inheritance in a way that it's protected, and you can even go so far as to dictate that it be spent on certain things such as education, down payment on a home, money to start a business, whatever it is that you want to convey, and you would like to see happen with your money. And then finally, trust is a tool that can help you protect your assets from the costs of long-term care. So, according to Genworth, which is kind of the gold standard on long-term care costs, in 2019, a room in a nursing home in Oklahoma ran nearly $5,000 a month. As you might imagine, even for people who have built up a pretty substantial estate, $5,000 a month can quickly deplete that. And so you could end up in a situation where, if you're like my grandfather and through no fault of your own, you have Alzheimer's or dementia, you have to go to a nursing home, everything that you spent your whole life saving and investing could be gone in a matter of months or years. And so with a trust, you can protect your assets from those costs, as well as put yourself in a position to qualify for government help with nursing home costs. And that is just a huge benefit. And as we're all living longer and longer, the incidence of Alzheimer's and dementia is going to continue to rise, along with those nursing home costs. So I think a trust is a way to kind of mitigate that problem and protect yourself and your family. So in closing, I just want to review what we've covered today. I would recommend right now, if you can, get in place a healthcare directive, update your existing documents, or at the very least review them, and then finally consider a trust. And I just want to emphasize again, that we're living in scary times. It doesn't mean you should panic. But you should be diligent about your estate and about your health care, and work to protect that for the benefit of yourselves and your family. So I want to thank you all again for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us on this webinar today. And I know this is a difficult period in our country, but we'll all get through it together as a community. And I hope to see some of you again here in the future. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Maddie. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tyler, and thank you for joining us today. If you would like to schedule a free consultation with Tyler, you can give our office a call or send me an email at maddie@tylerrbarrettlaw.com. In Oklahoma, law offices are deemed as an essential business, so we are open and operating. Some of the things that we are doing to stay COVID-19 safe in the office are we are disinfecting any and all surfaces before and after all client meetings. We also have plenty of hand sanitizer for our clients and our staff to use. We are giving our clients brand new untouched pens for signings that they can use and take home with them. And we're practicing social distancing. However, we can do the entire estate planning process virtually through platforms like Zoom and FaceTime. This is a little bit more cumbersome and takes a little bit more time, but it allows you to stay in the comfort of your own home. We also have drive-up estate planning, where you can come to our office and we'll meet you in the parking lot, and you can stay inside your vehicle and we'll give you documents to sign and such. We're even doing home visits, where we're meeting people on their front porches to do signings, where we can practice social distancing and be in open air. We really want to do everything it takes to keep you safe and to keep ourselves safe. And so we're all feeling comfortable and can keep the estate planning process moving forward. So again, if you would like to schedule an appointment, just give us a call or send me an email. For the Benvenutis gift card giveaway, I'll be using an online platform to do a randomized drawing. If you are the lucky winner, I will send you an email. So make sure you're looking out for that as well. Again, we just want to say thank you for joining us. Stay safe out there. Hang in there. We're here to serve you. And thank you again.